Speaking of deGrom, he left the start, as we mentioned off the top, after 3 perfect innings. He struck out 8 guys and then went down the tunnel, followed by a trainer. He gets replaced by Sean Reed-Foley, who immediately gives up a 3-run home run. And now Aaron Loop has come in, and he hasn't done so hot either. So it's 6-1 in favor of the Mets. Aaron Loop did do pretty well, but 6-1 in favor of the Mets. Reed-Foley gave up 1 run. I must have misread that. Interesting. All right, 6-1 Mets, and they're a good team. They played very well. They're first place in the NL East, 5 games ahead of Philadelphia. The Braves have had a tough season. Phillies had a tough season. The Mets have struggled with injuries. No injury is as substantial as the one we're about to find out about tomorrow. It's right shoulder soreness for deGrom. Whether that means IL or not, I don't know. But if he ends up on the IL tomorrow morning, that is a huge, huge loss for this team who has been so injured all season long.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they're 9 games, I don't think it's crazy to think that they're going to be 10 games after tonight above 500, which is a huge shock considering how many guys have been injured. I remember one-on-one show I had to make a graphic for the IL, and I just didn't know where to stop because there were so many guys. There weren't enough pixels on the screen to fit all the guys. And yes, it would be a devastating blow if deGrom misses, any period of time. But I think the resilience of this squad has been extremely impressive, and it doesn't seem like this is going to be a super long injury. So I would not count the Mets out for this.
I wouldn't count them out, but I feel like this type of injury is something that's always going to flare up again. If we've been seeing it so much, and like we know he spent some time on the IL in May too. And I mean, I'm not trying to compare myself to a Major League Baseball player, but I had right shoulder soreness as well, playing softball here at Fordham University. That turned into excruciating pain, and it took a cortisone shot and like a couple weeks off for it finally to go away. And right now it's just like I'm fine, everyone at home wondering. No, I'm just kidding. But it's I feel like that's the type of thing that you don't want it to flare up because the inflammation only makes it worse. And overuse, which he can't help. Like he's a workhorse. He's going to keep working hard and want to be in the bullpen, practicing his pitches and stuff. Understandable. But if it is just tendonitis, if any MRI comes back pretty clean, I feel like even that is just so tough. And we've seen him exiting games early. And of course, though, I do have to second Jack's point. You have a laundry list of injured Mets players. And, having like a non-outfielder in the outfield in a major league game, I feel like is not that common. Of course, these guys are so great at their job. They're flexible and just athletic too. So for him to have success out there and just to have a successful Mets team too, I feel like is just amazing. Coupled with semi-successful run of the Knicks this year is probably really good for New York. I know my grandma's happy. She's a big Mets fan. But I think that this has to be considered as something that's not going to go away. Even if he isn't put on the injury list right off the bat tomorrow, I think that him being out is definitely going to hurt them at least a little bit. But I know that they have the depth, at least in position players, to get them through. And we've seen that. But now it's just going to see other pitchers in the rotation stepping up and hoping that him just taking some games off in between, practices off, could help. But I'm hoping maybe it's not a full tear or anything like that is what I'm praying for.
Yeah, and we have seen other pitchers step up. Taijuan Walker was good last night, and you might see Charlie Carrasco come back soon. And David Peterson has had a couple good starts here and there, and Marcus Stroman has been very good this year. So you haven't seen the other pitchers step up. But again, nobody's shaking deGrom. So it's going to be tough for them if he's out for an extended period of time. They have a tough schedule between now and the All-Star break, too. It's all division opponents up until the Yankee series, which is the 4th of July. And then got a couple. They got to get Pittsburgh between then and the All-Star break. But it's a tough schedule for the Mets, but they are on the verge of 10 games above 500 after tonight's game.